You said that yourself. If your manager is a douche, even if you are likable, I am not in. You won't sign him.
I won't sign him. I might be
That's
wrong.
hilarious. I never put two and two together. The Paul Newman, that
What I'm
dressing
saying
is his.
Record labels
Yeah.
not only make your music successful, they make you as a brand name.
Yeah.
I was just looking how much the biggest Instagram people and some of the musicians, so you've got people like Ariana on there and you've got Justin Bieber on there, but also you've got things like Ronaldo and Messi from football, and how much, and Kardashian and everything else, how much they can charge per post on Instagram.
Right.
It's like north of $2 million to a brand. The record label, so I watch your podcast, I listen to your podcast, especially when friends are on, but like Lex, I've got nothing but respect for the guy. I met him when he was working at Universal. You knew him at Universal in Canada. He's recently helped me out one of my Latin records. He introduced me to the head of Latin music at Spotify, who supported it, and the record's now 7 or 8 times platinum Kiki. Brilliant artist and a wonderful record. Tango Unplanned, which I'm really proud of, is one of our records on our label. And he said, manager deserves 50-50. I'm not a manager. I know it's the manager's playbook. I know that's what you guys do. But I'm not mad at him for saying it. Because if you come along and you're a nobody, and this guy helps you go from a nobody to one of the most famous people on the planet, he's gone on a journey. He's believed in you when no one else believes, and you can get fired in a heartbeat on your 20%. I'm not mad. I understand why he's calling on the 50%.
Yeah.
But I got a madder thought. People are rude about record labels.
It's the same thing, the concept with the record labels, right? What you're saying is, listen, you might not get the fairest deal, but at the end of the day, maybe, or let's say it's not the fairest deal, you might not think that, but...
You're wrong. Because they've got the expertise.
Right.
They've got the know-how. They've got the offices in all the countries in the world. When you come and work with my new label, let's start with majors. You go and work with a major. There are great people in all majors. There are great people. There are also bad people. There's bad people in every walk of life.
It's just easy to bucket them all as bad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But Taylor Swift goes through a major. Drake goes through a major, right? They might have different deals along the way, and it might be signed via this company and that company, but they go through a major. Beyonce goes through a major. Jay-Z came through majors. Now, as we have this stuff now, and the digitization, there may be other ways to do it. But these other ways involve people with expertise. So I'm not a major anymore. I have a distribution deal with the incredible Virgin, and I respect them and I love them, and I think Jacqueline and the whole team there are incredible. And they bring skills to the party. It's not surprising when they break the Rema record. It's not surprising when they break the David Kushner record. It's not surprising, because these are the A-list people. They're top quality, in my opinion. Okay? No artist is a success on their own.
Absolutely not.
And I have this concentric circle theory.
Okay.
In the middle is who?
Artist.
In the next circle is who?
Manager.
Agreed. As you require more, agent,
PR,
merchandise. But
merch, yeah.
you need people who've done it before. Now, some of your people are going to be fresh and they're going to give energy.
Yeah.
But you're going to need people in the seat.
Who know what they're doing.
When you want to do your first tour.
The lawyer.
The lawyer. Oh my God, the lawyer's so important.
Zach Katz always talked to me. The first time I ever met was Zach Katz. Zach Katz said,
man,
amazing. He's going to do the pod as well. Bringing up, he comes up every second pod.
I love it.
Yeah. And he told me, he's like, 5 seats at the table are the most important, and you need your record label, publisher, agent. This is 2015, and your manager, along those lines. But he very much said, this is what you need.
Do you want to go back to Richard Griffiths?
Let's go.
He wrote a note to Bob Ledvetz. I'm going to say his name wrong if I apologize. Who has the letter. And he said, these are the requirements to be a successful artist. I've got my version. His version I printed off, I framed it, and I have it in my office. Okay.
Send me a photo of that, by the way.
I will. Number one. Okay. How important is talent in your list?
In my list?
Yeah.
Personally?
Yeah.
incredibly high.
Nope.
Well,
I'll tell you why.
but hold on. No. I'll tell you.
right. I'll
For
tell you-
me,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
incredibly high, but I don't think it is this. But the highest on my list is work ethic.
Cool. Well, by the way, I'm going to say work ethic's up there, but it's one above that. Likability.
Likability.
Now, you could have the best work ethic in the world, and you could have the most talent in the world, but if you are an unlikable human being, for whatever reason,
Yeah.
no one's going to buy into you.
Yeah.
If you're the someone who's got a slight sneer, or you're a little bit too, you've got an awkward way about you, you might end up being an incredible producer or a studio musician or whatever, but you're not the guy or girl who's going to be on Instagram, right, or TikTok, and people going, I love them. I love what they're about. I love how weird they are. I love how this they are, that they are. You have to have likability. Now, I reference an artist, okay, who I think is amazing. I love her. I was in love with her as a teenage boy. She is a mega star of modern music. Where would Madonna finish in a singing competition? Now, let's go back to likability.
Fair point.
Her likability is clearly, by her success, huge.
Yeah.
And she kept a narrative and interest. Her work ethic was 11. Work ethic, likability, manager. Because if your manager is a douche, no one is going to want to do business with them.
I wrote that quote down. You said that yourself. If your manager is a douche, even if you are likable, I am not in. You won't sign him.
I won't sign him. Because you imagine, Richard Griffiths, I adore. Harry McGee, I adore. I've worked with these guys for years, right? Richard and I and Harry normally have a dinner once a year that has nothing to do with work. And I hear old war stories, stuff that happened during the year. None of that stuff would ever get repeated. And we laugh out loud. And there are times in the year where Richard will call up when I was working with him, scream the place down, make my life a misery on behalf of his artist. We were friends.
Yeah.
We are friends.
Yeah.
But when he had to go to war with me for his artist, he went to war. But if I had to go to a concert and spend the evening and have a meal afterwards and everything else, I look forward to it. There are other times I didn't look forward to it as much. Jack and Sam, who managed Sam Smith and Disclosure and Jimmy Napes, I look forward to being in their presence.
Why is that?
Because they are bright, affable, interesting. These days I learn a lot from them. In those days they just asked me a million questions because I was like the old man in the situation. But they brought a warmth. I invited them to live in my office. When we did Sam Smith, they ran their business on 3 desks in my office. And David Joseph, who ran Universal, said, I said, can I have permission? I've got 15 desks. I've got 8 staff, or we end up with 10. So we had all those mega hits for 10 staff. You don't need 400 staff. We had a small roster, and wow, we were successful.
Yeah.
And the boys would work in my office, and every day I saw them. When we had to make a decision on something, can we make a decision on this? Can we get an answer on that? They were just
they're
there.
right there.
They were there.
They're right there.
And then they were like, what do you reckon about this? What about this for our agent? What about for this, for this? What about this?
That's the best.
Right?
That's the best kind of situation you want to have. That type of closeness.
Let me go
there.
back to it.
Yeah.
Teamwork.
Yeah.
You will not become a global star without a team. Now, that team may be an independent distributor, maybe a major distributor, maybe a major label. But you need, when you come out as a new artist and your friend is your manager, your best friend from college, someone who worked in a studio over the years or might be an artist themselves, they're bringing some stuff. They might be your person you go to for listening and being good to you and am I being unreasonable here?
Mm-hmm.
But you also need someone who's going to say, guys, I've been in this situation before, stay calm.
Yeah.
Because it takes a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think this is going to happen overnight. Look at this
that
is
friend,
the game.
That friend could become a very successful manager, and they're the best
Yeah.
for you. But if you don't have those mentors or those individuals who have great experience like yourself, you could spin in circles and never get to the place you were supposed to be.
Look how lucky I was. My first ever job, Roger Ames was the owner of London Records and the chairman of Polygram, right? Roger is a legend. He's a genius. He later ran Warner's, he ran the... To this day, I go to him for advice. The next job, I went to BMG, and I get to work, and Clive picked up one of my acts from America. Clive Davis, my hero. I've read every book, everything about him. Wow. Lifelong, still to this day, I can send him an email, he'll respond, incredible.
Amazing.
I get to sit at the table with Clive Davis. And I meet Pete Edge in that process, who I've got huge respect for, because he worked for Clive at the time. It was amazing. And Ashley Newton, who I was a fan of from the UK, was then in the US. Another guy I adore. He signed the Spice Girls. He worked with the Foo Fighters. He was brilliant. He did Imogen Heap with me the first time around in 2004. The man is a top executive. Then I go to Sony and I replace Rob Stringer, who becomes global chairman. The man is immaculate as an executive. He busted my balls on a daily basis. He fight with me tooth and nail. And one time I said to him, why do you fight with me and not the others, like some of the others? And you know what he said to me? Because we both love soccer. And he said, when you got a really talented player in the team and he has a good game, that's not enough from the really talented player. You want him to have a great game. Don't come in here and tell me you had a good game, because I'm not judging you on good. I want you to be great. And I hated him for it at the time. He made me a better executive. He made me better.